we didn't come to a complete decision because I don't think none of these guys can actually see what's going on. But what's the situation here then? So Temple's on A lap all sauce. Looks like he's doing a two-stop strategy.
It's raining. It's just started raining, Jamie. So we've come back at the perfect time. This was a bit of a train.
Palmer has just turned the Ferrari around, and now who's that coming through? That's the second Ferrari of Isaac coming through on Palmer. Palmer's still out there, 23 lap old socks. Looks like he's gone for a spin early in this race. So as soon as I come back, Harry Palmer hitting people immediately as Isaac comes through, and Harry Palmer really struggling on his old tyres. These medium runners are really struggling now with the lack of grip out there because they've gone a long way without a safety car or virtual. But thankfully, Temple's almost hit the back there. Temple's going to be quick against these medium runners because those mediums there are at their limits right now. As you can see, Palmer really struggling there for traction, and Temple all over the back of it. But for all the flash then, is this a bit too early to pit as Palmer there committed to the pit lane? We've got some drivers in the pit lane then, so scenario is it's raining.
Yeah, and Temple looks like he's trying to do anything he can to overtake Palmer here, but it's not looking like it. So just for the record, Panda, Bazza, Sofian has stayed out, Asian stayed out, Ross has stayed out. So Verona, Palmer and Temple into the pits on the Inters. I'm not so sure the track's ready, but we'll have to see, because I mean, anything can be deceptive in this lobby. Temple's actually jumped Palmer in the pits, so he got in quickly, so that's good for him. He didn't overtake him, but he's had a quick, faster stop. So are these tyres faster? Let's see, Jimmy.
It usually takes about 2 or 3 laps to soak in any trap, but depending how fast the rain impacts the circuit. So let's see what any of these top guys do there. They stay out for one more lap, so they believe the track is not ready for the Inters there. So I wonder if Palmer and Temple have pulled the trigger too early. Looks like DRS then is still on board these drivers, as we've got a few back markers there in the way. Unfortunately, who was that? That's going to be that Rowland, unfortunately, who's left the session because we've had those issues. That Rowland and Mazzles have had issues. That's why they're down at 18th and 19th, and that's why I was a long way away. But thanks to the back markers, they've gave DRS towards King Panda, and Bazza there will have his work cut out now because it looks like King Panda slowed down enough to get the DRS once again, as the Alpine does not get out of the way, but not the blue flag. Bazza almost lost it there, coming out of turn number 3, and Palmer's asking for a restart now. So I'm not quite sure. We're probably asking for a restart because he's down in P50. Yeah, I'm sorry, Palmer. I'm sorry.
I have to say, I mean, you can't race 26 laps. We've just decided finally what to do, and then after restart. So I'm just looking at the leader gap. Temple's gaining. He's started gaining. He's gaining quite heavily now. So the track is looking greasy. We've got a yellow flag here. I think someone's gone off just going into sector 3. But yeah, Palmer outbraked himself heavily into turn 4 last lap. I was just keeping an eye on the Inter drivers. But yeah, Temple's drifting along the track on traction, and now the leader's going to the pit. So how much time has IRT Temple gained on these guys? I'm just going to watch him. The leader's in the pits. Bazza stayed out, actually. I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. Temple's gained 2 seconds on this lap. Could Bazza have made a mistake here? We'll have to wait and see, Jamie.
He did make a few mistakes on the last lap by running out wide as well. So I'm looking at Verona Flash. Interestingly, he's gone on a set of soft compound tyres as Mazzles has retired.
It's pit.
Yeah, Mazzles is a lap down and he's been lagged out most of the race, so I'm not surprised he's pitted. But Eisen there on the hard compound tyres, he's pitted early because he was on the medium, switched over to the hards. That's why he didn't follow the strategy like everybody else did. Sofian there also on the medium compound tyres, as we've got a few more on the Inters then. So DRS is still enabled, by the way, so we'll have to see which drivers can manage to stick it out there. We've got 2 soft runners, which is Marshall, or we've got 4 tyre compounds being used here as Eisen goes up the inside, forces Sofian to go wide, but Eisen too pitched on the curve there, not able to get the exit he wants, and therefore loses time and stays behind Sofian as Craig goes up into P13. Fandango is in the pit lane. We've got the AlphaTauri who's just came back on the track, retired. Not quite sure what's happened to Jack. Maybe he's another driver that left the session. AlphaTauri is off the track as Bazza is in the pit lane then. So let's see who's made the right call. Is it Temple or Palmer? Where is Palmer? Down in P15. He's lost a lot of time now. I'm not quite sure what's going on because the chat's going wild here in the Discord server. Lots of drivers asking for different things, but I think we've only, 8 laps to go now? I don't know what to do anymore. We've missed half the race, unfortunately. It'd be nice to see what's happened, but it's just a short track. Any other track, I'm not quite sure what would have happened. But Panda has got a massive undercut there on Bazza, so looks like Panda pulled the trigger at the right time then.
Yeah, he did. Bazza stayed out a lap too long. I thought he would be further down. I mean, the Austria pit lane is shorter than what I remembered. He's up in P2. He's going to have slightly fresher tyres, but it's really down to the interface now. Because I mean, Bazza looks like he's got plenty of time to. It's just disabled now, so it's officially into conditions. Trunder's been caught out there because he's the only driver yet to stop on hard. He's got a whole lap to go on very challenging conditions, and he's just going to drop back now. So unfortunately, I think he took a gamble that didn't pay off. But yeah, Panda now clearly in the lead and needs to just take it home for this race, and he will be the winner of the inaugural Austrian Grand Prix.
Yeah, it will. There's a Panda pulling the trigger at the right time. I think Panda was the one who won the preseason race back at Texas. It was a close fight, I think, with Bazza Fox and Panda. Those two at the top of the game. And Chunder's there has to pit. He's the only one on the dry compound tyres, barring Glowstick and Jack. Regard, I don't think Jack's in the session because I saw him leave. But Chunder's then will commit to the pit lane. Probably lost a lot of time, stay out there on the hard compound tyres. I don't think there's been any safety cars during this race then, so it looks like a clean race so far, other than that turn 1 incident we saw, turn 3 incident on lap 1, it must be said. Sofian there, up in the podium paid positions then, so not really seen much of, well, I haven't seen much of him, but he's got 2 Ferraris but for company right now, and Eisen, interestingly, has got a penalty. Is that a 3 second or 5 second still? He's got a 3 second.
I think. Oh, yeah, no, he would have said it's 5 seconds, sorry, that's stupid from me. But yeah, the 2 Ferrari boys have come out of this very nicely. I mean, Eisen's currently not going to lose any possessions with his 3 second. Temple's gone from, I think, practically he's gone from last on the grid. Sofian and Temple have gone 12 and 16 places up respectively, so they're going to be battling out for driver of the day really here. Temple will be hoping he can step on that podium because he was very unlucky in the qualifying session as the conditions got wetter and he was left without a proper lap to stand on, but now he's done brilliantly, so yeah, big shout out to him. He's managed to wade his way through this absolute nightmare of a race.
Interestingly, in the wet conditions in qualifying he was really struggling, but now in the wet conditions here in the race he's in P4 fighting for a podium then, so what a change in fortune there for Temple in P4. Starting in last place, what's going on? Both Ferrari switching positions, so Temple believes that Eisen is quicker and he should be the one to get the podium, but bear in mind he's got a 3 second time penalty, so if Eisen doesn't get this move done, Temple's off the track there, but if Eisen doesn't get this move done, will he give the place back to Temple? I'm not quite sure, but it's down to Eisen now to fight, and if he does overtake Sofian, he has to pull a 3 second gap as Glowstick's retired in the pit lane then, so he's a lap down unfortunately for him and he's out of this race, so a lot of bad luck for a lot of people on this track due to the glitches we've had so far, with the Aston Martin now being a lap down, which is Jack in the second Aston Martin there, but yeah, a lot of people really suffering with the lag glitches as well. We've got Leon making a move on Mays now, going side by side, going into turn number 3 right now. Up the inside he goes, and he squeezes Mays onto the curb there. But fair enough. Here comes Ross, might take advantage there on traction against Mays there, who got put on the curb. Now they're going side by side as we head down into turn number 4. Ross with the inside line. Can he get this move stick? Because Mays is still there around the outside, and Mays also with the curb again, which is not a good place to go, especially in the wet. And Ross there moves himself up into P8. Eisen.
Yeah, he's just got an inside line there. He's got a brilliant exit. He's braked very early and he's trying to catch Sofian out. Of course, they don't have DRS in these conditions, so it's much harder to overtake. But yeah, it looks like the Ferrari decision's paying off so far, as he's going very close as he's lifting. He wants to get a long run on that straight. He wants to slip, even though there's no DRS. And he's floored it. Sofian looks like he's got a slightly better exit, possibly because of different traction control that they're using, but I'm not quite sure as Roland leads. Unfortunately, he's had a very unlucky race as of yet. But yeah, Eisen's carrying that 3 second penalty, so I'm not quite sure why they've let him through. I think Temple would have a better chance for the legitimate podium, but maybe we'll just have to see on this one.
Maybe Temple wasn't confident enough there to find the wet conditions. We did see him struggling. There's Eisen's all over. He actually tapped the back of the Aston Martin, but thankfully no further damage was done as he remains in P4, trying to look for ways to get past Sofian. However, the Aston Martin sustaining his pressure against both Ferraris, handling it really well there to stay in P3. He's got 4 more laps of this. Bearing in mind though, the pressure might be lifted so slightly because the guy behind has got a 3 second time penalty then. So, oh look at this, like on the last lap, as Sofian moves to the right, let's try and cover Eisen, but once again then Sofian stays. He needs to get a better exit coming out of turn number 8, otherwise Eisen will be all over the back of him like he was 2 laps to go, or this lap, last lap ago. So let's see there what Sofian has got left at his disposal to defend against Eisen there, and Temple as well in P5, still hanging on to the back of this battle under a second as well. Can Eisen get the run cut out of turn number 1 to try and get it down to turn number 3? Look at the traction there. With the lack of ERS also Sofian has, he hasn't got much at his disposal to fight against Eisen, but Eisen also lack of ERS as well, so no disadvantage there for either of them. But looks like Sofian gets good traction cut out of these traction zones. Turn number 1 and turn number 3 and turn 4 as well. But somehow at turn number 8, it looks like Eisen's the one that gets better traction, better grip, better drive out of that corner then to go side by side into turn number 8. But looks like the Ferrari of Eisen there, not sticking up down the inside of turn number 8. Just don't want to risk it too much and make contact to this penultimate corner.
Yeah, these guys are seem to be stronger in different areas of the track. I mean, Eisen definitely gains time as he gets closer on the exit. He can't quite go side by side because he had a much poorer... Oh wow, Sofian's let off, and Sofian's like sort of baiting him into going side by side with him in that corner. I don't really know what he wants to do with it. But yeah, these guys are... Oh, and Temple's just got himself a penalty actually, so now this means that Sofian, if he keeps it on the track, then he's going to finish in P3, barring anything disastrous. Just going to make a point. Bazza's been gaining about 5/10 a lap for the last 3 laps. I kept about half an eye on him, and I think he's gained almost a second on this one. So if he keeps this pace up, I mean, he could really get close to Panda here. I'm just going to keep an eye on this one while you watch the other guys fight, and I'll let you know if anything happens. With 3 laps to go, of course, it's a very short track, not much time for Bazza to catch up, but you know, if he can get a decent run in, then maybe Panda could find himself under threat if he doesn't find a bit more pace.
Yeah, good spot there, Ben. The gap was like 4.5 when Bazza came out of the pit lane. Now it's 2.3. So, like you said, if he continues with this pace, but bear in mind though, with the difficulty overtaking in this rain as well, has got the straight line speed once he does close up, or if he does close up. Leon, however, has got past Flash. Flash might always lose traction there, and the AlphaTauri of Ross comes through on the outside, but Flash is trying to nick the freeze, and Kevin Magnussen here. Oh, crash! This could be a safety car. The latest stage of this race. Will it be a safety car? I'm not quite sure, but we've got Ian Marshall taking evasive action there, going off the track, and a safety car will not be deployed. Jay Hartnell is also losing place as well. Midfield mayhem going on. No safety car either, but Chunders there also had some misfortune to cut out there, had to take evasive action. He's down into PA, might sustain a bit of full wind damage too as he gets a 5-second... Oh, he slowed down actually to try and let those guys through, but there's no way he can let those guys through, unfortunately. But look at Temple, all over the back of his Ferrari teammate then, level pegging due to penalties, but Temple can't find a way past his teammate. His teammate goes wide, so does Sofian. Here comes Temple then. He gets him on the curb. Does Eisen, but Temple almost loses traction, and he moves himself up into P4 then. And now it's his turn to fight Sofian if he could do so. But they wouldn't have lap times to do so if they have the pure pace to overtake him. I'm not quite sure. But Sofian's doing a fantastic job to keep these guys behind them. But look at Temple's got off the track there. It's allowed his teammates to come back through then. So these two squabbling has allowed Sofian actually to pull away then, which has relieved some pressure off his shoulders then.
Yeah, it's very intense between these two. It's kind of confusing me that Asian isn't giving back the place. I mean, I'd expect him to... Sofian's actually got a bit of breathing room now with these two squabbling. But yeah, I'd expect Asian to let Temple through after he did the same. But, you know, I've never really seen team orders in league races. I'm not sure it's too common a thing. But, yeah, these guys are going neck and neck, and I think Asian's letting him through. Yeah, he's let him through on this lap. Are they going side by side? No, I think Asian's just going to follow him in, and they're going to finish P4 and 5, which is a very respectable result, especially for Temple, given his qualifying position. He's done fantastically well. Yeah, and a big shout out to Sofian as well. But up in front, it looks like Panda's going to take this one, Jamie.
It is indeed. I think the gap's stabilising now to 2.3 to 2.5 as she goes deep in the corner. Sofian puts her car on the curb, but thankfully doesn't lose it. And Temple there also lost traction coming out of turn number 3, and Eisen doesn't take advantage of that then. So I think these two squabbling cost themselves a chance of a podium. Bearing in mind though, if they did overtake Sofian, would they pull away that 3-second gap? I'm not quite sure that Sofian had to do, but it's quite easier said than done. But Fandango has overtaken Jasper. I haven't mentioned Jasper once in this race, unfortunately, but Jasper there down into P12. He goes to Dutchman, really struggling here in these wet conditions. But these guys who started all the way at the back, Sofian, Temple, they struggled in the rain, but it's raining right now. It looks like they did a good job in the rain then, so looks like their fortunes have changed and managed to find some pace in the wet conditions. We move on to the last lap of the race. The gap is 1.9, but Panda, all he has to do is make no mistakes, no penalties, and bring it home. Sofian, however, can still pick up a 3-second time penalty. She's going to keep it nice on the track and make sure she doesn't go out wide and doesn't pick up her penalties, because Temple is actually gaining on her again. So she's kept one for Aya Bay, which is Eisen. Now she keeps the second for Aya Bay, which is Temple. So let's see what happens on the turn number 3. We did see Sofian put her car on the curb there, and that'll definitely ruin her chances of getting out to that corner with traction. But let's see what happens. Temple rear locks the brakes, probably broke a bit too early there, and Sofian keeps the place for the time being. Temple does struggle with traction just a bit there, as Aisha's actually pulled backed off there. He's actually lost a lot of time, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to him in this race. But turn number 4, keeping nice and clean, another tricky corner here, and she negotiates it well and stays in P3 for the time being. Here comes Panda making his way towards the last corner as he wins the first race of the season ahead of Bazza. These two put an amazing fight for what I've seen so far. The top two displaying some great action as well. Marshall and Chunders are still fighting away for P8 and P9. Chunders has got ahead for the time being, but what happens to P3? Does Sofian keep the tempo behind at bay? Let's see it coming towards the penultimate corner. Keep it nice and tidy now. No need to make mistakes. No need to pin it on the throttle. Gets on the corner very nicely. And Sofian picks up her first podium as well in P3 with Temple in P4. Shout out to Sofian and Temple from 16th and 20th. Fantastic job from both of them. Here comes Leon in P6 ahead of Ross. Two former teammates, of course, in Alpine. And Chunder's there struggling on traction, but should maintain P8 unless Marshall can't do it, because Marshall is in P8 with Chunders picking up penalties at the very end. Fandango in P11. Unfortunate for him with Jasper in P12. Mays P13. Jay Hartnell, our Austrian Grand Prix race winner last season, in P14, with Palmer frustrated due to, don't know what happened to him, made contact somewhere and he wanted to restart the game when he said he didn't want to when he was in P3.
Yeah, well, some great races, yeah, as Mays spins across the line dramatically. Yeah, some great races in there. A fair few unfortunate ones as well. I mean, if anyone from EA is watching this, you need to sort it out, boys, because this is pretty shambolic. I mean, especially considering that these guys have put a fair bit of time into the game. It's really disappointing to see the lobby go like this for some of them. Yeah, we see Panda on the podium here, repping the British flag. And Bazza SUFC Flocks repping. I'm not too sure if that's entirely accurate, considering last time I heard he was from Sutton. But, you know, good race from him. Otherwise, no, I think Bazza could have really won the race because his pace was much better than, well, not much better, but a fair bit better than Panda's in the wet part of the race. He just stayed out maybe a lap too long.
Hold on a second. I'm just trying to. Obviously, these guys haven't sent me a friend request, so I can invite them to the podium into it. I'm pretty sure Sofian's a she, because I remember getting standard last week, and I think Sofian is a she. I think it's Duwell's wife.
I'll just ask them then. I'll just tag them. Oh.
Probably.
Ah, that makes so much sense then. Well, apologies. I'll see if she comes in here then.
I put him in a different group chat by accident.
Oh, swings around about. He's in the group, yeah. So just tag him in chat. There we go, perfect.
There
Okay,
he
then
is.
take it away, Jamie.
So we'll start from third to first. Sofian,
Yeah,
you started P16, was it?
P15, yeah.
Oh, not it's a bit close, but you started P15 and all of a sudden you find yourself on the podium at P3. And obviously I lagged out, so I didn't really see much of the race, unfortunately. But talk us through your first stint and obviously the battles with your Ferrari. How did you manage to keep maintain the pressure?
Yeah, actually I'm quite upset about this race. First because of the quality, because I couldn't find the pace at P15. But I managed well in the race, and the thing is that and I underfueled massively the car because I thought there were going to be multiple safety cars, and I was like minus point 0.6, minus point 0.7, so from lap 20 onwards I had to save fuel. So I saved fuel, and the rain helped me saving fuel, and I was just drifting and coasting in the braking zone and using ERS to defend from the Ferrari. So, but in the end, good results. But I think I have to be careful next races with my quali pace and the fuel, especially.
In that first corner, were you very nervous about Isaac going up the inside there? Because it looks like at one point you were defending that, and I thought he would get you, but you just managed to stay there in P3.
Yeah, that's what I told him after the race, that he could have gone for the move, but he chose to be safe. I think because of wet condition, he was even safer. But I knew that he had a 3 seconds penalty, so I was quite sure that I could stay behind him because as I said, I was lifting and costing very much to save as much fuel as I could.
I bet you were very nervous, weren't you, with both Ferraris right behind you, because they were swapping positions at one point and even fighting each other, so I bet you were relieved when they were fighting each other, weren't you?
Yeah, when I saw they started to fight each other, I was relieved because I could build 1 second, 1.5 second gap. So the last few laps were more enjoyable than the last 15 or 20.
You did a really good job to keep both Ferraris at bay as well, with swapping positions, so congrats on P3, and especially for P15 as well, mate, because obviously it's a hard race as well, especially the wet conditions, and you made it stick, so congratulations for P3 in the first race.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ben, you saw more of the race than me. You got any questions for him?
I don't actually. I think you asked everything I had in mind for Sofian, but yeah, well done. It was a very calm race from you, just working your way up the grid, getting through all the drama in the first lap on the softs, and yeah, you had a lot of pace. So yeah, deserved podium, and you did well to stay ahead of the two Ferrari boys because they were definitely working together as well to try and get up to you.
The soft helped me a lot because during 15 laps, the grip was amazing on soft, so I could gain a lot of position in the first stint.
Yeah, Temple had the softs on as well. He finished, I think, fourth in the end, and he was on P20. So you two I was just watching you two guys slowly go up the field. It was good to watch. Yeah, definitely a good strategy call on your part. Anyway, yeah, Jamie, take it on to Bailey Bazza, our second place finisher.
Oh, Bazza, mate. It was the first stint was really amazing because I was here for the first stint and you two were going side by side. So was that the plan all along, just swapping DRS to keep Harry Palmer and the rest behind?
Well, like Sofian said, I come into this and thought, this tier, there's going to be safety cars, so take all the fuel out, literally level. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll just stick behind the DRS for a bit, get the fuel back up. But to be fair, I realised pretty early that the fuel was going to be alright. So I originally thought, oh, I'm quicker than this Panda, I'll just stick behind the DRS, get my fuel back. And then when I went for it, he won't move. He was still there. I couldn't get away. So there was the big debate whether to go for softs for like 10 laps before the rain come, but he just kept saying like 15 minutes till rain, and then next thing you know it says rain's a few laps out. So it was just waiting for rain, and Panda done me, to be fair. Absolutely done me.
Yeah, you pitted unfortunately the wrong time. Was it one lap too early you pitted?
No, too late.
Yeah, too late, sorry. Yeah, too late.
I when I saw Panda go in, I thought DRS is still enabled. I might. It was nip and tuck. The tyres were on 80%, but yeah, I've been done.
I was going to ask about your tyres as well, how old they were. So you said 80%. I bet it was very tempted to pit, wasn't it, for the soft compound tyres?
Well, it's just with it being approximate on the pre-race, there was only two rains, so I think it was always going to rain. But if I go for softs, it doesn't rain, then I'm knackered. If I go for hards, when I've got hards on wet, and I'm 20 seconds to make up if Panda doesn't pit, so I basically had to just copy Panda.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing you could do, because if you copy somebody else, you won't lose too much out, will you? So I think that's the best thing to do. But one lap too late, unfortunately. But you'll learn. I know you got a lot of decisions to make, hadn't you, when you're leading a race or in second place? You got a lot of decisions to make. You don't know which one's the right one.
It's just well, it was the right decision. Just Panda had the track position to pit first, and I still had DRS. I thought that would have been enough to either give me an advantage or. Well, I think the undercut was like 4 seconds, so that were just curtains from there.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that 4.5 second gap. You managed to close it down to 2 seconds. Did you? I think it was like lap 31 or 2. Did you believe that you could still close him down?
Well, the first lap I think I took 4 tenths out. I thought, okay, this could be something, but just too big a mountain to climb, I think.
Yeah, I know, especially the wet conditions as well with no DRS. It's very hard to overtake in the wet, so did a good job in this race, finishing P2. First race of the season, plenty of races to come as well, so it's not over yet. And next race is Suzuka. How are you feeling for that?
Normally don't like Suzuka, but just have to see how it goes. But is that the last question?
Say again?
Is that the last question? Because I want to say something to Panda.
If Ben's got any questions to you.
Oh, go on.
Just a really quick one, mate. What's the origin and inspiration behind the Vietnamese flag?
Oh, great question. So, F1 2020, Hanoi, the GP we never got. I had a fondness to Hanoi. I basically, before all the racing and that, just played F1 with mates. I won Hanoi every time, so just love Hanoi. We never got it back. There were rumours of DLC last year to get it back. We never got it. We will one day race around Hanoi again.
Oh yeah, you're a psychopath for liking that track. But anyway,
Oh.
come on, it was horrible. Let's be honest. At least if you're on a pad, I struggled. Anyway, I'll let you say. I won't go on a rant because we haven't got that much time. But I'll let you say what you want to say to Panda.
Oh yeah, Panda. I hope it's live all season because this will be fun if it is.
I couldn't say anything less.
Good man.
And now on to you, Panda. Panda, mate, congratulations on the race, mate. Looks like you pitted at the right time, mate. How did it feel when Bazza came out of the pits 4.5 seconds behind?
I had a feeling that would happen because I noticed that you get like little ripples on the track when it gets slightly wet and it's about to go too wet enough. So it enters instead of dries. So like little ripples, you just about can see them. So that's the time when you would need to pit. I mean, my tyres were 78%. I mean, they were dead. I was crawling around on them, but I mean, on the inters at the end, it was just taking it easy, not push too hard, don't spin, just control what I've got in hand. So, but I mean, me and Bazza, the fight we had on the slicks, I've never had anything like it before. So, I hope that continues.
Yeah, that was a really good battle when I was watching it on stream as well. It's on the other stream, by the way, not this one, because there's 2 streams of. So that was a great battle between you two. Talk us through how you managed to keep your head, keep your head on that, because that's a really hard battle, especially with the guys behind. If you continue battling like that, those guys will definitely catch up and get back in the DRS as well. So was the whole game plan to use each other as DRS and pull away?
My plan was to use him. Like, there's a few times where I backed out before turn 3 DRS detection point, so I could then do the undercut, so we wouldn't lose more time, so we could keep trading DRS to stay with each other and just pull away from the cars behind, because they weren't really battling or dropping DRS, so we'd be able to pull away instead of being stuck in the train. So that was my thinking all along.
And when your tires were like 78% old, did you have any mind to come to the pit lane put on a sock compound tires?
There was one point I was like, do I box for hards? At like lap 17, I think it was. I was like, do I go for hards? And I was like, no, I got to stay out because otherwise Bazza would be gone. If it rains and I've just boxed, like, you know, I'm screwed. So I have to stay out until the rain comes. Thankfully, come at just the right time.
And it did indeed, and you managed to do a good job in the wet as well, not losing the car. You both did a really fantastic job as well, keeping it no penalties either, keeping it nice and clean on track, especially with the battles as well. So that was really great to watch from our end. And how are you feeling for Suzuka?
I don't normally like Suzuka, but on this game I love Suzuka, so maybe again next week, but who knows?
Oh, Bazza got a lot more to do.
Normally I'm not very fast around Suzuka, but this game, that track's lovely. I will give you that.
Yeah, even on the paddles for me, it's lovely too. Bazza, any response to that?
Well, if I'm near the front, I'll be happy. If I'm third or above, I'll take that.
Fair enough, mate, and hopefully you two continue a great battle again with more people coming in as well, because we had that split as well, especially that first lap incident. Ben, you got any more questions to ask for Panda?
No, just well done. Really, it was a really mature race, especially from the front two guys. It was good fun to watch while the chaos unfolded behind you. So yeah, well done, really.
Yeah, I must say I'm better in the wet than I am in the dry. So
You like it, well,
I will
don't you?
just mention that now.
No,
I like it
no,
more in the
don't do
wet.
that, Jamie.
Last year's game, I hated the wet and liked the dry, but this year's the other way around. For the wet.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I think I like the wet as well, especially with pad tractions. I agree with you on that one.
I mean, I run no TC, so
Fair enough, mate.
No,
fair
no,
enough.
no TC on pad. It's,
OP.
Yeah, it's a dream. Unless you can't play the game like me, but well, you know, different strokes.
everyone has everyone has different skill levels, so.
Yeah.
I've got one question.
To who?
Bailey's got a
Floor.
question.
A question for the floor. Were we willing to stay out? Because we were 20 seconds ahead, but I didn't know if that was just because we were willing to stay out until it rained, or were we just that far ahead?
I think with lots of guys like having mistakes, because there's a few drivers who hit the back of each other. I think you weren't the only one to stay out. There was a couple of people on the same old tyres as you, 22 lap hold.
I think the guy on hards who was running P4 at one point was stayed out, but I think everyone else boxed. If I
Was that
remember
Ross?
correctly, Basil.
I know we were like.
Yeah, I think it was Ross. Yeah.
Yeah, we
like-
all boxed.
oh. I know we were like 5 seconds ahead after turn 2, but then they clawed it back a bit, but I just didn't know, because like we finished 20 seconds ahead of third, so I just wondered if that was the reason or not.
Yeah, I do believe most of the field did box. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a bit chaos behind you. Palmer had a spin, I think, at one point. And Aizen kept up, but the rest of those guys on that train, I think Verona DNF'd at some point as well. So yeah, it was pretty chaotic. But yeah, you two kept it calm, which was good to see.
And
No,
Yusufian.
Well done.
Just shows you can battle with no contact.
Yeah, you should tell that to some of the guys in the top tiers of league racing right now, because honestly, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, boys, we're going to end it off out there. Ben, thanks for commentating and joining with me, mate. Joining this action.
Pleasure. Thanks, mate.
Join us back for Tier 4 for the Suzuka Grand Prix next Monday at 7:30, and join me and Hedgehog back for Tier 1 at 8:30 for the Austrian Grand Prix. We go again for the Austrian Grand Prix. We'll see you all later and have a good week.